How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to ReWrite. So, this could be a bit of an interesting episode today because you may find I'm kind of glancing to the side occasionally. Bit of an insight of when we're recording. I try to record a few days before I post a video. Nothing too long, nothing too short, but essentially gives me time to get editing done, try and fix any potential issues, but not so far in advance that I'm out of sync with the comments of the video. So usually I don't record a video in a series until the latest video has gone up. So once this video is posted, I won't have recorded the next episode yet, but I may record it within the next day or two, depending on schedules and everything. Because usually things weekends tend to be busy. I don't have time to record a lot. There can be when there's holidays and stuff going around, it can make things really crazy and crunchy. So I just try and dance around stuff. But ultimately, I gotta just record what I can and record, in a timely manner. But also not be too out of sync with the actual posting of the content. I've mentioned this in the comments a few times, and that's why I just don't record super early. So if there are major hiccups, when my computer broke, my whole channel just shut down for a couple of weeks while I was waiting for the update. So here we are. And the reason why I'm going to be looking over here is because today is the 6th. And if you didn't know, I'm a fan of Warhammer. I got into Warhammer 40k when I was in high school. Big fan of the Tyranid there. First I collected Ultramarines, and then I liked the Tyranid a lot, so now I've got a collection of them. I tried to get into Age of Sigmar, mostly because I thought the design of the Daughters of Cain were really cool, but it was, the lore never grabbed me, and I've enjoyed the old world a lot, especially when I got into Total War. Total War, Warhammer 2, and now 3. And I haven't been quiet about that. I've mentioned how the fact that when I played that game, I immediately fell in love with the lore, the build, and the look and design of Bretonnia. And there's a thing called the Old World that's launching. It's getting pre-orders for this year. It's coming out this year, starting in a couple months. They're going to be kind of relaunching stuff from Warhammer Fantasy, because Warhammer Fantasy technically got concluded, and then they went to Age of Sigmar. And lore-wise, I just don't like Age of Sigmar all that much. But I really love fantasy. And so, the fact that they're doing Old World, which is taking place, before, what fantasy was, earlier in the time period, but not by much. You still have all the same factions, typically. A lot of the same unit types are going to be there. So it's essentially a relaunch of Warhammer Fantasy, and I'm super stoked about it. And today, they're announcing the release, and the two that they're pre-ordering for first, they've made it, it's pretty clear they're planning on releasing the other races. It's just when, and I think they're wanting to gauge how successful this first couple batches are before they commit. So they haven't said anything, but they'd be foolish not to. There's going to be a lot of hype. So I actually think that's why they started with two factions, Tomb Kings and Bretonnia, and I think they started with those two factions for a reason. Because I think people at Games Workshop don't want this to succeed as much because they really kind of put all their money down on Age of Sigmar. And this could be seen as an undercut, but there's clearly a lot of people who really enjoyed Warhammer Fantasy, and so they're kind of doing a test run. And I know that historically, two of the factions that didn't get very much support and were not very highly sold way back when Fantasy was big were Bretonnia and Tomb Kings. So I think they're doing a test run to see how big is this hype actually? Can this actually be a successful product? And if this launches and is successful, I think it's going to kind of bring the rest of it up and kind of give the green light for them to move forward with making the races that were very much more popular, Lizardmen, Skaven, Orcs, Dwarves, the classic dwarves, that's where the Warhammer came from, I think, was the dwarves and their Warhammers, Empire. And the nice thing, too, is that because, they've been working with Creative Assembly to make stuff for Warhammer 3, and they've started making stuff that never was actually officially canonized in plastic in Warhammer Fantasy, like Kislev. Kislev was kind of a personal flavor at the time, but I don't think they had any source books or anything. It was kind of just a fun thing people did, which was very Slavic in design. Very, very cool, but they've been given units and rosters now, so they could easily make a whole set of minis. They also came out with the Jade Empire stuff, which is essentially based on very Chinese culture with dragons and firework, gunpowder, rocketry weapons and stuff. It's really cool. And the Jade Empire, and they have a whole line now. They could easily make stuff up, and it's Warhammer 3 is kind of working in ways that's canonizing stuff that was kind of hinted at, but never quite actually printed for fantasy. So they've got a lot of potential in this, and I think that's part of why they're investing in it, because like there's a lot of big hype for this Total War game. There's still a very strong, powerful following. And so yeah, I'm excited. I hope this is successful. And like some of you have even known, have been posting about like the build-up hype for this Bretonnia stuff. So it's going live today. I'm in the queue to potentially pre-order. I've got a kind of a limit to my spending that I'm going to put on myself. So I'm just going to check and see. I'd love to get the starter box if it's within this, like within the scope of my budget. Like numbers I've seen are kind of popping up all over the place, so I don't really know. I think a lot of it has to do with like location of like where you are and if they have to ship it to your home or if they can ship it to like a distribution center near you or something. I'm not too sure, so I just gotta look at the prices. If the price is reasonable, I plan to get the Bretonnia starter box. But if it's really unreasonable, I'm probably gonna get the rule book and maybe like a set of Pegasus Knights or something. Just something small, but like I want to be a part of it. Even if I never get to play the tabletop, I just love the miniatures so much, and I think it'd be really fun to paint them. Challenging, yes, but it'd be really fun. I've been painting some of my Tyranid lately, which has been pretty good, but like I love Bretonnian lore. I think that their world space is really fun. So anyway, I'm talking a lot about this already. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for being patient with me. Hopefully you skipped ahead if you didn't want to. So we're probably at the finale. I've said that like 3 times now, but like it really feels like something's happening with Akane. Like the key is like an empty vessel now. Whatever the key had is gone. Akane probably took it. We fought off Guardian, nearly became a familiar, but it looks like Sakuya was able to pull us back from that brink, which is really cool. That reveal that Sakuya had the same power as us in a previous cycle. He pushed himself so far that he was rejected by the cycle of reincarnation, as they said. So he was essentially a familiar, but he was also a kind of human. So he didn't just fade away into nothing. He just kind of got reabsorbed into a tree, which is really interesting. I'm curious, like, if he was just a special case, or if there's like something about that's kind of foretells what the key sparked apocalypse is about or themed around. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So anyway, enough of this rambling. I'm so sorry. I know it took forever, but like I just want to explain why I'm going to be distracted. There's a good chance if I get through this queue, I'm going to just jump over there and go shopping real quick, which is really odd, but it's like the timing is just unfortunate because like it's going live when I have like one of my few moments to record, and so I'm just recording now because I can. So let's jump into it. The Gaia facility where Prez supposedly is. An unsettling silence emanates from the building. Sure is quiet. There were more people here last time we came to see Prez. Okay, that's really weird. Luckily us, we can visit the basement without an appointment. What's wrong? I agree. I like how she can say that with a smile on her face. I don't know about that. Should we, like, leave then? Oh my gosh, why does she have so much faith in us? We nearly killed everybody, or killed ourselves. Like, one of those two was gonna happen. Oh my gosh. Not that I know what I'm doing. I've only been doing what I want so far. And I don't exactly want much out of life. But if there's something I want, I'll do everything I can to get it. I think that's about it. Honestly, I don't think that things have been working out that great for me. I haven't been able to achieve a single thing so far. And you got Chihaya by your side. She's super on board with just being with you and, you know, working together. Like that's one thing that's really kind of refreshing compared to Kotarou. Like, Kotarou wanted the best for us, but like what she wanted was pretty opposed to what we wanted in a lot of ways. Like, we wanted to be there with her to help her. She wanted us to be as far away as possible so that we didn't get caught up in all the shenanigans. We wanted to go out and scout out and potentially fight her enemies. She desperately wanted to keep us protected and safe. And then even at the end, we wanted her to let us go, like unwind the part of us that she that was keeping us alive so that we could become human again. And she desperately didn't want us to die. And so it was very heartrending and frustrating in that story to be like tousled between these two extremes of like what she wants, what he wants, even though like at their core they wanted the same thing. They wanted to be together, they wanted to be happy, and they wanted to find peace regardless of what that meant. They didn't want to be with Guardian, they didn't want to be a Gaia, they just wanted to be able to have life. And yeah, it's just crazy. So the nice thing about this story is that while it's really challenging and really scary and there's a lot of danger, we have Chihaya on our side. Our goals are in line and we're working together towards something. That's pretty cool because it means that we've had each other's back, and it means that like you've always got that person who's just like in your corner. And in real life, that's really, really cool. It's probably the best part of being in a relationship. Like there's a lot of things you can say that are great about relationships and they're all true. But I think the best part is just knowing there's someone in your corner, knowing that someone trusts you and that you trust them, and that like you can kind of go to bat for each other, and that you can even ask them to make leaps for you. I mean, it's not proper to just assume that they're always going to be okay with everything you do, and that's part of what's important about communication and everything. But just knowing that they're there and knowing that they'd probably be willing to give you the benefit of the doubt when push comes to shove and you don't have time to explain, that's a good feeling.
けどな、そりゃちはやんが言うみたいにお前だけでやってきたことじゃねえからな。
True. Yeah, that's true. I would have died a long time ago if I had gone about this myself.
でもそれは小太郎の力だと思いますよ。
そうだな。お前はさ、ずっとまっすぐだからな。
Despite better judgment, he does. And that's probably why I'd never be a great hero like him. It's because I'm too hesitant. I try and think things through too much. I don't think I'm super hesitant in the sense I get stun locked, but like I struggle with my own doubts. And while he doesn't really let it stop him, where it would give me pause. Might make me delay, might make me too worried to move forward when there's no point in like here, I'd be more willing to wanting to leave because it'd be like, what are we even gaining by being here? Maybe we shouldn't be here yet.
一個のことにずっと命をかけてる。だから周りもついてくんだよ。うまくいくってのはそういうことだよ。
And that's fair. You've changed, you know that?
俺はもともとこういうキャラだぜ。
You know, when the comic relief starts saying profound things, they usually die in the next chapter.
いやいや、平気だって。
It's like, you just stop that.
行きましょう。人いないって言っても見つかったらめんどくさいです。
Yeah.
平気さ。ちょっと血が足りねえだけだ。
Oh, that's right. He's feeling out of it because whatever's happening, it's not just like that's another. I forgot about that. That's actually a good reason why we should be doing this. Sakuya and the other familiars are feeling like they're being drained, that they're like losing energy, and like that'd be really bad if we lose them. I don't want to lose Sakuya, Gil, or Penny. I want them to be okay.
少しならあげますけど。
いや、いいってことよ。
I think he's being really serious because I think he actually knows that like there's a decent chance he's not coming back from this, even if good things happen. Gil's looking exhausted. Must be from Prez's gathering of energy. What is she doing? The last time we saw her, nothing good can come out of that kind of countenance. Yeah, she was babbling like a mad woman. I peek into the room she was in last time. She's not here.
もっと奥でしょうか。
なんか嫌な感じがしねえか。
Yeah, my Star Wars senses are tingling too. Yeah, you're not the only one.
予感とかじゃねえ。この場所そのものがあったよ。
And that's interesting because like this place is already strange because this is in that other dimensional space. But if he's saying like it's still weird, that's worse.
辛寒い空気ばかりが流れてる気がする。
Can you follow it or like see where it's coming from?
私にはわかりませんけど。
We should hurry. Oh no. We arrive at the big hall, which looks very much out of place underground. The ceilings are high and there's nothing but darkness inside. It shares the same atmosphere as the school basement. but the other dimension forces itself upon us. Prez? I call out to her. My voice doesn't echo. Despite the empty darkness, it's like the darkness itself is absorbing sound. Or you don't echo because unlike physical spaces we're used to, this actually might continue essentially forever. It might continue far enough that it just dissipates into nothingness, or it's just so vastly large of a chamber because outer dimensional space doesn't have to follow like the same logical standings that our Earth does. It could literally be so big an echo would lose its strength and not be able to bounce back to us.
あれ
You see her? Is that a well? That looks like the well, like the portal to Gaia that sits in the middle of the woods. Did she just rip open a new one? Or is this perhaps the same one in that dimension? Maybe like once she learned its location, she was able to go to the dimensional equivalent spot and open it here. Prez. There's a gaping hole in the floor in front of Prez. A mysterious green light is emanating from it. Kagari is standing next to her.
パワースポットだ。
Okay, it is. A what?
エネルギーの補充場所です。
Oh. I think I've heard of places like that before.
でも枯れてる。
Really? All that? How? That's like the whole planet's power, right? Like, I mean, it comes from the planet, and it's probably just like a wellspring that's just a small portion of the actual planet's true energy. But to draw all that out, like, Kotarou made it pretty clear she could use that her whole life, probably several lifespans, probably multiple people, multiple druids draining and pulling on that power supply and never actually use it all. And so now it's been all used up. And she's still pulling more power? Or maybe is she pulling power through it? And that's why she's been able to access the energies all around the building and the city.
そんなことあるのかよ。パワースポットってのは膨大なエネルギーの噴出口なんだ。1個ありゃ何百って魔物のエネルギーを賄える。
A better saying than what I said, but essentially the same. Hundreds.
まだ足りないわ。街中のすべてを注ぎ込んでもまだ足りない。
What are you trying to do? What? What are you doing?
うるさい。もう音がハエの音にしか聞こえない。
Oh boy, she's really out of it.
耳元で不快な音を立てる羽音。喋るな。動くな。何なの？世界はこんなにも醜悪さに満ちている。私はなぜここにいるのかしら。もうすべて。でも、すべてが終わる。
Dang.
終わらせる。私がこの手で。
What memories did she get? Her memories were brought out by the key, and it started the spiral. So what memories are being like forced upon her conscious mind that made her decide that the world itself is this ugly? Because even when she talked about how like humans are destroying the world, she described the world as being beautiful and that we're like a marring of it, that we're ruining and twisting it, and thus that's why we need to like be forced to change, to adapt, or to be removed. I couldn't get behind that reasoning per se, but I could kind of see it. But now she's describing the world itself as being ugly. Like, is she been twisted to the point where she might try to destroy everything? Literally everything.
おかしいわね。滑稽だわ。なぜ私はこんな醜い格好をしているのかしら。おぞましい。こんなことならズダ袋に目口鼻でもつけてうごめいてる方がよほどお似合いだわ。茜さん、近寄るな。ああ、何？私を止めに来たの。もう無駄よ。
Prez, please, what are you trying to do?
知れたこと。
Uh-oh. Purple light's never good.
それはなぜ死なないのかという問いと一緒ね。ああ、そうよ。死ぬべき。でもそれじゃ終わらないの。 羽音がする。うるさい。耳元で飛ぶのよ。止めるべきだわ。
Oh
止める
boy.
べきなのだわ。
Oh boy. She continues rambling. You're acting crazy.
おかしい。おかしいのはすべてだわ。すべては滅ぶべきよ。滅ぶべきだったのよ。なのになぜ？
She doesn't even sound like she's clear on what she's wanting to do herself. She sounds like she's like bouncing around in her own head. That's terrifying. Like, why should somebody who can end everything be in a state like that when they make that decision? That doesn't make any sense. Her expression shifts and her mouth keeps rambling. What about you? What do you think about all this, Kagari? So far, the impressions I've gotten from her, besides her being standoffish, completely disregarding like the interests of the people around her, and the strange mania she experienced right before she was destroyed in Kotaru's ending. Like where she was like laughing right before she started trying to end the world herself. Here, when all this started, like right when they, like again, when Sakuya prevented us from turning into a full familiar, she was disappointed, almost angry. Kagari comes across as being, like, inhuman. I get that. But when she comes across as the most human so far that we've seen, she comes across as deranged, even twisted.
なんです。なんなんです。
Finally, Prez stops.
そうね。ああ。わかりやすく言うと、私が世界に滅びをもたらそうと思うの。
So you're still doing that. What?
羽音が止まらないの。そこの子は私に見せてくれたわ。黒い記憶。人の
Oh.
紡いできた暗黒の歴史。
That could explain it. Remember how through like the vines, I think she's like, it was like the various vines and plants, like mistletoe, I think it was. Kotori mentioned how you could preserve memories, that druids could weave memories into plants, and like they could be carried by the plant's descendants through years and eventually transmitted to later descendants of druids to kind of give them, to teach them how to use their powers, how to instruct them and give them important information, especially about stuff like the key. What if the key essentially delivered the almost incomprehensible memories of the planet and the planet's view, maybe the darker view of humanity to the planet? That we are the bugs and insects that buzz around, are destroying and constantly chattering around the planet. And in its point of view, as an entity that's not quite conscious on the same level as us, especially on a time scale. Oh gosh, I can't remember what the book was. But there's an interesting science fiction book that talks about the concept of compressed time and like what its effects might feel like, and like the idea of one of the characters unlocks the ability to keep themselves alive longer by like phasing themselves out of time a bit, so that they move incredibly slowly through time from the perspective of the outside, but they're actually like the days are passing very quickly. For a planet, that's probably the time scale it would feel. So humanity, in its time scale, in the last few like minutes, has gone from like little maybe nibbly bits, like all the other animals on the surface of their skin, to a horde of swarming, noise-making and explosion, like creating just nuisance. It'd almost be like breaking out in hives or having an infestation running under your skin. And maybe be starting to drive you crazy. So maybe that's the planet's point of view, and the key somehow condensed that scope of the planet and kind of gave it to Akane. Rather than presenting her with her memories, she was presented with a translation of the planet's thoughts. At least its darker thoughts. What are you talking about?
邪魔はさせない。私が終わらせてあげるの。醜悪さも残酷さも無情なる日々もすべて滅びの彼方へ。
A magic circle forms under Prez's feet. I've seen it before, but this one is much larger. Is it the same one that we were? Because someone pointed out last time that Sakuya, yeah, it's the same symbol. That's the same symbol that Sakuya. Oh no, not you. So yeah, it's a symbol in the corner, and it was the same symbol that Sakuya came out of, and now it's the same symbol this guy comes out of. So that circle isn't just a Kotarou thing, it's something else. It's not even what I thought. I thought it was just a connection between Sakuya and Kotarou, but now it looks like it's just a familiar's summoning circle. Another one appears overhead. Oh, are you serious?
クリボイログにキリマンジャロ2体同時に
Oh no. Yeah, we're super dead. We're super... Even Sakuya would be dead here.
ふざけないでください。茜さんがこんなの操る力持ってるわけないじゃないですか。
私が別人だとでも？残念ながら私は私個人であり、それ以外の何者でもないわ。
Oh, interesting. If she's somebody else now, that almost implies that the key kind of possessed her. Remember how, like, Suzuka said that the key was empty. So whatever was in the key is now an Akane. So it's like she's now kind of the key fused with Akane. So it can now, it has her information and knowledge, but it also has the power. Ooh, that's terrifying.
できるのよ。別にこんなの。
Tama's final moments come to mind. No, Tenma's. How could she summon them so calmly?
死ぬぜあの女。
なんなんです。さっぱりわけがわかりません。
Kagari must have influenced her somehow.
そんなの関係ないです。昨夜が倒れてるんです。このままじゃ。
Kilimanjaro takes flight. Oh no. Crap! I grab Chihaya's hand and bolt. This is very bad. We can't take them both out at once. Retreat is our only option. We're getting out of here, Chihaya.
でもやっぱりダメです。おい。
Huh? I forgot. This thing's incredibly fast! Dang it! I form Aurora into a sword. I kick the ground beneath me and I kick towards Kirivrog. Ah! I bring my sword down with all my strength. And of course, it bounces off! It's no use. My body's far stronger than before, but still not strong enough. Crap! Its tentacle comes rushing at me. Crap! I duck underneath it and land. Ah! A ray of light grazes my shoulder. Kilimanjaro. One's dangerous than the other. Can't use my old tactic. Kilimanjaro would come after me if I waited for an opening to attack Krivyog. I don't see any way of winning this 2-on-1 battle. What the hell do I do?
あの女おかしいぜ。
Yeah, I noticed!
そうじゃなくてよ。よく考えたらこんなもん2体同時になんて操るのどう考えたって無理なんだよ。
小太郎、多分パワースポットが枯れてるのと関係があると思います。
I mean, what would happen if we pushed her in? We know that that power can typically kill people. What if... Oh, I don't want to do that, though.
茜さん、そんなに優秀な魔物使いでもないんです。何か他のところからエネルギーを回してるのかも。
Okay, but what do we do about that?
それは張り倒すしか。
Again? Alright, Chihaya, I'll distract these two monsters. You'll have to do something about Prez. I can't see any other way out of this situation. She nods.
引きつけるったってあいつら相手に何すんだよ。
Avoid the attacks of the flying one while chipping away at the squid one. Good thing you could fly, huh?
俺か
You've always been a valuable partner to me.
なこと言われたらやるしかねえじゃん。
Yeah. Alright, let's do this.
小太郎、気をつけて。
I will. I won't let this stupid thing kill me. Chihaya rushes toward the hole.
茜さん。
Prez is looking down into the green abyss.
ダメ。素材が大きすぎてもダメ。小さくていい器がいる。
茜さん、もうやめてください。
足りないの。パワースポットの力を一点に集めることは成功したけれど、器がない。肝心な魔物の素体がない。
No, wait, Gil, no.
何をしようとしてるんですか？
鍵も聖火体も全て私の手にはない。けど、一つちょうどいいものがあったのよ。
まさか、ここにあった魔物の研究を？
けれど、適した器がない。 どんな魔物がふさわしいのか。
Oh boy.
そんなの作ってどうしようって言うんです？
うるさいわね。滅ぶべきだから滅ぼす。なのになぜ鍵は発動しないの？だったら私が起こすしかないのだわ。
So she tried to activate it and it didn't work. So what's happening? This, oh man, every time I feel like I understand this game and the stories, it just brings up all these other questions. It's like, what is happening?
やめる気ないんですか？
なぜ？
何もかもです。昨夜も小太郎もみんな、私だってそうです。茜さんは間違ってるんです。
黙れ。
黙るのはそっちです。本当に張り倒して。
Gaia continues her plea. Whoa! Kilimanjaro takes flight and speeds toward her and Prez. This is bad. Gaia, look out!
邪魔はさせない。世界は滅ぶべきだし、私が滅ぼすの。
Oh my gosh, Prez, come on!
もともとそうなるべくして生を受けたのだわ。運命ってそう。
運命なんて後付けの言葉です。未来は誰にだってわからないじゃないですか。
Ooh, I like that. You can only see fate in hindsight. No one knows the future.
そうしなきゃいけないことなんて何一つないんです。そんなの間違ってる。
うるさい。無知な四半世紀も生きていない小娘が何を語る。
Well, hang on. You, first of all, we're not 25. Second of all, neither are you!
魔物使い？上等な力を持ってあなたは生まれてきた。どこかあなたは私に似ていた。けどあまりに無知すぎる。それはもはや罪であるほどに。
She's going very breathy. By the way, maybe this will be a better thumbnail with her glowing purple and the power spot behind her.
今のあなたは何？幻想に浮かれてうつしおの姿も捉えられない迷いが。そんなものは路傍の屍であるべきなのだわ。
Jeez. Oh no, not them too! Oh no, Sakuya. No. We can manage.
気がつきましたの？
行かなければ
行くってどちらに？
守る。私は守る。
千早さんのところですのね。でも無茶ですわ。あなたにそんな力は残って。
守るんだ。今度こそ。
まさかあなた、空間転移？あなたそんなことまで。
Yeah, he can.
無謀ですわ。そんなことをしたら。やめて。あなたの体が本当に消えてしまいますわよ。
誓ったんです。たとえこの身がどうなろうと。
Don't do it, man. Gaia! What the hell? Where did all those black dogs come from?
あの姉ちゃん、集めたエネルギーを全部自分で使えるんだ。無尽蔵の力があれば、あんな数だって操れる。
It's kind of crazy to imagine, like, Kotarou could possibly pull something like this off herself. And heck, she might even be able to invent her own Kilimanjaro and Roigvar, or whatever his name is, if she had the knowledge and the temperament to do so.
けど、普通の人間があんなの扱ったら、それこそ死んじまうぞ。
I think she knows that. Prez doesn't care whether she dies at this point. I've seen so many of these cases now, I can tell. People who put no value on life whatsoever. But is Akane really one of them? I don't think she was. That's the thing. I don't think she was. Not before, but now something changed. I have to save Gaia. I rush to both of them. What? As soon as I turn my back, Kriyavrog's clawed tentacle whips around me. Ugh! Got me! Damn it! I can turn my back on the squid spider. Ugh! Ah! Going to crush me.
茜さん。
何？ここへ来て命乞い？無駄よ。別にどうせ最後には全て消えてなくなるんだもの。それが2つ早いだけ。
Kind of makes me wonder if she devoured all the other people here. Like, has she cannibalized all of Gaia's life force into this project?
実を言うとね、少しだけいい気分なの。
Jeez, the voice acting.
力を振るうことにこんな至福を感じるなんて、やはり私も醜く滅ぶべき存在なのだわ。私にすらそんなものがあるんですもの。どれだけの人間が醜く力を振るうことができるのかしら。違うあなたは茜さんじゃない。茜さんの口からそんな言葉。残念ね。私は私自身。
I don't know. I don't think it's that she's not Akane, but I also don't think it's Akane, if that makes sense. This isn't Akane unrestrained. This is an Akane without the soul of her humanity still like within her. Because when she would talk about bringing about the end of the world, there was always a bitterness to her. I wish it didn't have to be this way, but I've thought it through and I can't come to any better conclusion kind of attitude. This is someone who's delighting in the idea.
かわいそうね。かわいそうだわ。でも、さようなら。
この
The black dog assaults her, but Chihaya grabs it by the neck. She flings the dog right at Akane. It flies right by Akane and into the pit.
猟犬ごときの雑魚じゃダメね。
Akane motions with her hands, and Kilimanjaro comes rushing down. Kilimanjaro flaps its wings, and ensuring whirlwind blows Chihaya away like a sheet of paper. Hang on, Chihaya! Stop that, you bee!
残念ね。これでおしまい。
Kilimanjaro turns around and spreads its wings. They begin glowing white. A flash. Chihaya was definitely caught in it. My vision is obstructed by smoke. What happened? My thoughts are racing. Have I failed to protect her?
ジャストタイミングでしたね。
Oh, I'm sure you were, buddy. A wall stands in front of Chihaya. A wall that protected her.
昨夜
余裕を持ってがモットーでしたが、申し訳ありません。
Sakuya smiles while talking with his usual snark. He is the wall that is always meant to always protected Chihaya. How?
空間転移ですわ。
Did you help him?
私にそんな力はないですわ。ただ彼が飛ぶときに一緒に乗ってきただけですの。
昨夜今の
I'm
背中
kind of scared, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't have one anymore.
ええ、ちょっと大幅に打撃を受けました。
The rays have left an awful burn on his back. The skin on his back has a strange texture to it now. I recognize it because it looks similar to my own.
ですが、実を言うと、もう痛くもないんです。どうも、すでに痛覚もなくなっているようで。
That's not good.
どういうことです？
ありていに言いまして、もう限界のようです。
あんな体で空間転移なんて無茶までしてきたんですもの。バカ。みんなバカだ。
千早さん、私はあなたに謝らなければいけないようです。私は食材として、かつて守れなかったものの代わりとして千早さんを見ていたようです。
そんなの昨夜がずっといてくれたのに、そんな理由は関係ありません。
そうですか。
そんなことを謝るよりも昨夜の体が。
ちょっとそれはできそうもありません。もしよろしければわがままを3つほど聞いていただきたいのですが、これまでいろんなわがままで私を困らせてきた報酬ということで、どうか一つ。
そんなの。
一つ、こんな私を許していただきたいのです。
You suck, Sakuya.
二つ、多分初めてになりますが、千早さんの命令に背かせてください。三つ、私は元よりただの塵と消えるはずでした。
That's the truth of it. He knew his fate was going to be at the end.
塵は塵に、そんな塵のことを悲しまないでください。
You can't just do that. You're her family, dude. I don't care if you're just dust. We're all just dust.
いかがでしょうか。
No.
何 なずくわけないじゃないですか。わからないとでも思うんですか？昨夜死のうとしてるんじゃないですか。嫌です。そんなの嫌です。昨夜ならいつも何かすごい力で解決してくれるじゃないですか。今回もそうしてください。
千早さん、ごめんなさい。わがままですから、それは聞けません。
Gosh darn it. Like, you can't just...
小太郎くん、武士道とは己のために死ぬ道ですが、騎士道は誰かのために死ぬ道なのですよ。
Don't be white knighting here.
そういうつもりで私はいつも言っていましたが。
So? You can't protect anyone when you're dead? He raises his finger and points right at me. Oh! He's doing it. It's you next. It's the All Might point. A-hole! Sakuya makes his move. He puts his hand over Kyovrog's tentacle and chops right through it. Whoa. I hit the floor along with the tentacle. What the hell? I keep getting saved by you.
小太郎くん、千早さんのナイトはあなたなんですよ。できますね。
Can't just say that. You...
本当のことを言うとちょっぴり残念です。
Oh, naturally, that's the last thing you say to me.
もう少し早く
Oh.
千早さんが小太郎くんに出会えていればよかった。
I thought he was gonna say that. I'm disappointed it was you.
時間があまりにも不足していましたね。
I think I understand now. About his feelings toward Chihaya. Thanks a lot, Dad.
親父はひどい。兄と呼んでいただけますか？
I have to stop him. The man with Chihaya on his mind. But... Ugh. Can't move my body.
さて、時間があまりないようです。
Gil, stop him!
どうやってこの場にあいつを止められるやつなんていない。魔物にだって限界ってもんがあるんだ。もともとなんだよ。
なんです。
やっぱ知らなかったか。
千早さん、彼ほっといてもいずれ崩れてしまう体ですの。
Right. It was probably gonna happen anyway. They were talking about how he was getting really old, and because he was feeding his own energy to Chihaya to keep her life force, preserve her life force from feeding his, he's been draining his own power this whole time. He's been existing under his own strength, but because it's pulling on his own strength. Like, he's not purely self-sustained. He had a timer the whole time, and every time he exerted himself, it just pushed it a little closer.
その最後の時間、せめてそれだけわがままを聞いてあげてもらえないかしら。だって私なんでそんなこと。
千早さん、なぜだか昔を思い出しました。千早さんが桜が散ってしまうことを悲しんでいた時。
Well, they were like reminded her of you.
もっと見てたいです。
は、桜ですか。もう散り始めていますね。
綺麗ですから。
ですが千早さん、それはできません。
なんでできないんです？
So that was the alert telling me I can get to the store. You suck, store. I'll be right back. I don't know why it was so loud. Oh, fetch V. That worst timing ever of the freaking universe.
困りました。桜はずっと花をつけていられないものなんです。
でももっと見ていたいです。
千早さん、桜は散るものなんです。
They're supposed to wither. Dang. Look at this. Look at our bro. It's funny because like he was always like the epitome of what I would consider like proper like poise and beauty and grace. And I imagine that the idea was that he was meant to be almost like built like the perfect idealized like person. And like Sakura and like the cherry blossoms are also kind of like almost like Japan's picturesque beauty, picturesque perfection of nature and that he's associated with that is very, very pretty and very, very appropriate. So he slips into the herd of familiars, as swiftly as a shadow. The black hounds bite at him. Rays of light attack him. Rubble flies at him. His body becomes more battered with every passing moment. But he's still fending off the familiars, as if the wounds mean nothing to him. He keeps fighting, and fighting, and fighting, and fighting. The image is burned into my mind. He is fighting. The flower and the night. He is a knight. He is a flower. The images are heartbreakingly beautiful. I can do nothing but watch him fight. I don't know if this one is better. Like the sprinkling petals were fantastic, but that's good too. That's all anyone can do.
湊さん、かつて私が守ると言った人、私はあなたを守れませんでした。けれど、今度は誓いを果たせそうです。許していただけるでしょうか。
Idiot. I grasped the full meaning of his intent. Atonement. That's all. That's all he wanted to do. This is exactly what he wanted from the beginning. He's carried on living thus far so he could wither away while protecting someone. It was all he wanted from that first day. How much regret he must have. How much sadness must rest on his shoulders. For his intentions to be so powerful. But it's not right! You made the one you wanted to protect cry! If you're gonna wither, don't go withering in front of us!
大丈夫でしょう。あなたがいるじゃないですか。千早さんの涙はあなたが拭ってあげてください。
Fetch me, man. The last familiar falls, and the man stands alone amongst the carnage. This man is the one known as the most powerful familiar.
咲夜。
He no longer responds. The man's wishes that span eons are finally fulfilled.
よく持ったよ。
Be as be kidding me. You can't just win and leave like that! Chihaya.
私、何も知らなかった。あんなにずっと一緒にいたのに。
Chihaya.
どうして言ってくれなかったんですか？
Maybe because he thought it wouldn't help, even if he did. He was always joking to the end. I think it was because he wanted to lessen your tears as much as possible.
短い間でしたけど、咲夜さんはそういうところがありましたわね。
悲しいわね。
Maybe we do push her in the hole!
私は一体
Oh,
何をしているのかしら。
Prez?
もっと早くことを起こすべきだった。世界にはどれだけの悲劇が溢れているのかしら。あなたたちもそう、私だってそう。何もかもが暗い運命を持つなら、やはり世界なんて滅ぶべきなのだわ。
You really would deny the world the beauty of what we just saw? That just tragedies horrifying and terrible and people do awful things, but that there's so much beauty that can rise from such things too? You can't condemn one without the other. How can you say that?
だって見つかってしまったんですもの。人の形をした人ならざる者が人を滅ぼす。一番の皮肉ね。
Oh no. What? The familiars?
葬る機会を与えてあげたいのよ。けど残念。この抜け殻はもらっていくわね。
She's using what remained of Sakuya? The familiar swarm around Sakuya.
何を？咲夜をどうする気です？
器が見つかったの。ごめんなさいね。私もう壊れてるみたいで、この場面で笑みがこぼれるの。
Fetch me! We should have kept him away!
これで完成するわ。何もかも滅べばいいのよ。
Oh. I think I get it now too. Remember when I said earlier that Kagari seemed really disappointed when Sakuya stopped us? Was that because we were about to become the exact vessel? And if there was some kind of prophecy, this, like she quotes before, the humanoid thing which is not quite human will destroy humanity? Was that maybe because that's what she thought we were going to be? That we were going to be the focal point of allowing like the end of the world to come? That we needed to be this vessel where we kind of bridge the gap between humanity and not humanity? Wait a minute, you... Damn it! Prez throws herself into the pit alongside her familiars. Holy crap. It's not over. We have to do something. What happened to her?
Akane-san を追いましょう。
What? Chihaya's words are unyielding as stone. I wasn't expecting that. Will you be alright?
はい。
But she's lost her protection now too, right? Like, she won't have her crazy strength. She won't have her charms. She's just a human now. Okay. She just lost someone she knew all her life. I guess you can say that's a form of strength. But my conscience recoils at it and how cold this all is. Maybe I'm being too sentimental.
追いかけるなら私に任せてくださいませ。
You know the way around.
多分このパワースポットに私が飛び込んでさっきの方々をたどればキルちゃんには場所が伝わるはずですわ。それに多分ここからそれほど遠くはない場所だと思いますの。おそらくつながりがあるいくつかのパワースポットのどれかに行ったはずですもの。
They're probably on the way to Kotaru's then. Alright, we're counting on you.
ええ、私だって小太郎さんの役に立ちたいですのよ。
Thanks. I appreciate it.
ええ。では、小太郎さん、負けないでくださいましね。
You got it.
じゃあ、行ってきますわ。
Penny smiles before flying into the pit. How could she be so cheerful? Right, one more thing. Where'd Kagari go? Gil is stuck staring at the pit. Gil?
ああ、あいつか。あいつなら穴の周りに。
Kagari stands before the pit lit up by its glow. Hey, tell me, how did Prez become like that?
知りたいのか。
What the fetch? She's talking again. I almost wonder if she kind of traded spots. Like, is Akane essentially in Kagari now? And Kagari is inside Akane? Feel intimidated. Her voice is solemn and terrifying in contrast to her childish exterior. Yes. But now is not the time to get cold feet. She points her hand at my chin. What? I can see it. What is this? People. It's the memories. People wading through a red something. Ugh. I jump away from Kagari.
どうしたんです、小太郎。
I'm out of breath. I feel dizzy, nauseous. I think I just saw the worst of humanity. People were killing other people, massacring them, slaughtering them. What was that? Was that a premonition of what's going to happen? Was it as if I put in a place as a victim and oppressor at the same time? Absurd and horrifying.
まだほんの触りも見せていない。私の中に蓄積された記憶。黒い記憶。
I was right. The world remembers. It sees everything that happens and kind of conglomerates it all into one and accumulated in her. She is the key because she gathers all the wrongness of humanity and she's sent out. And her mission is to examine the memories of people and determine if they're truly beyond saving. And if there's no hope, to restart it all again. And like before, it doesn't destroy all people. It resets them and hopes that there's a better chance next time. That must be what it's all about. She accumulates, the key accumulates all the greatest, darkest feelings of humanity through the course of centuries, of millennia, And then when it feels like it hits a tipping point, she comes out and scouts the world and attempts to discover whether or not humanity has learned through its mistakes to become better, or if it continues along the path of destruction. And if they haven't changed, you reset and try again. Oh, the direct projection of my mind felt more real than any picture or video. I think I understand. The memories accumulated inside her are the ugliest parts of humanity. And by sharing those memories, she can make you suffer and inflict that ugliness at the same time. Anyone would go crazy if they experienced that for too long. Yeah, because you're both, it's like you'd be committing the most heinous things to yourself across 1 billion times. Like, you feel the pain of the oppressed and the victims, and also like the vindication and the horrid, like, disgusting emotions that their attackers are like feeling as they do. You experience the worst of both.
見る。
私ですか？
Stop, don't, please. I'm serious.
私の役目はもう終わり。人の子らは人の子によって断罪されるべきか。
Said humans condemn humans. If you show them this, would that person then condemn humanity themselves? Maybe that's the part of it too. Maybe the key, I always thought the lock was like part of the earth, right? But no, what if the lock is a person? She takes the key, goes out, finds a suitable host for the event, shows them the worst, and says, is the world worth saving? And most people would be broken by it and probably say no. Because how could a world be good that produces so much evil? A key and lock put together, man condemns man.
それは多分良い記憶。
Good. You said the press has good memories before. Do you think anything you showed her counts as a good memory?
誰にとって
What?
あなたも良い記憶を。
She ends the conversation, never really denying the charge I laid against her. Kagari's body disintegrates like a familiar, disappearing into the ground. I don't know. What was she talking about? Memories? And this current situation is supposed to be good. And what was Prez doing? It looked like she was trying to make some kind of monster. I see. I see now. So it's better if we're destroyed. She's got a bad sense of humor. I should have knocked some sense into the key before she disappeared.
行きましょう。
Yeah.
昨夜を取り返すんです。
Chihaya?
今、ちょっと気づいたんですけど、
He easily picks up the piece of rubber next to her.
私、まだ力強いんですよ。
He's not dead. How's that possible?
これ、昨夜の能力ですから。昨夜、まだ消えてません。
I see.
そこなんだがよ。
昨夜の体、もう維持の限界なんですよね。
But Prez might be keeping him together now.
確かに、取り返すって言っても、すぐにまた消えちゃうかもしれないんですけど、せめて納得いく形にしたいんです。
Jeez, Kotori. Not Kotori, Chihaya. I don't know why I thought of Kotori right there. She just like flashed right in front of my head.
だから、行きましょう。
Alright. Chihaya steps forward.
ちはやん、辛そうだな。
Give her a hug! Her veneer of strength is wearing thin. Yeah, of course. I didn't even notice it for a moment. How stupid of me.
なんかさ、こういうのってさ、突然すぎるんだよ。いつだってさ。
You're right. All of this will take some time to process. All we can do now is solving the problem in front of us, no matter what, how recklessly. I feel like that's what Chihaya is saying. In that case, what am I charging headlong into? You know? I feel like beliefs are the main reason behind conflicts. If everyone just left their beliefs behind, maybe there wouldn't be any wars. But the thing is, it's not just beliefs. Like, you can say, oh, it's like belief in God, belief in, like, religion, belief in, like, patriotism, whatever. But that's not it. It's belief in each other. It's belief in ourselves and belief in our families, belief that we're right, they're wrong, belief that they're wrong, we're right. To stop belief, you'd stop being human. You'd never pursue anything. You'd never advance technology. You'd never seek a better way. You need beliefs.
それじゃあ進歩なんてねえよ。みんなそういうのあって生きてくから歩けんだよ。
A farmer wouldn't plant crops in the ground if they didn't believe they would grow. Another word for belief is faith. And while faith can motivate really terrible things, it also motivates some of the best parts of us. What war stories have you been reading? He's as impressionable as a kid in middle school. They say our war contributes to the development of humanity. But what are the point of developing with a cost like that?
俺魔物だから死んねえよ。
Of course.
なんだよ、何悩んでんだ？
I don't know, man. What are we?
いいじゃねえかよ。お前らはさ、お前の考えたことにちはやんがついてって、ちはやんが考えたことにお前がついてけば。
That's actually kind of a cute way of thinking about it, being like, hey, you guys take care of each other. You got to go, you cover each other's backs.
今さら難しいこと考えてんのか？
It's not like I just started thinking about it a second ago. I've been thinking about it the whole time. I really don't know anything. What is right? What should I do? How will I follow my desires? How far will following my desires get me? I waver and keep on wavering. Just deep down, I've always been anxious. I think I get it now. Why people look at the government or religion for answers? It's easier that way.
バカだな。お前はいいんだよ。女の子のために生きるって言ってりゃそれで。
That's me. He's kind of right.
いいじゃねえか。宗教も国家も理念も全部敵に回して、ちはやんのために動けよ。お前、それ超かっこいいよ。
It kind of is, isn't it? But is it right?
いいと思うぜ。ああ、それと。
Yeah?
歩かねえと置いてかれちまうぞ。
Oh. Chiaya's walking further and further. She doesn't even know where she's going. We have to walk together. Let's go.
Ah!
I'll go. Wherever she goes. I'm nowhere near as good as him. But I can still walk together with Chihaya. Fetch, I thought we were going to be done, but I don't think we are. How much more is there? We got to stop her from using the power spot. The final power spot. But what's that going to entail? Fetch me. God, you're going to all kill me, but I think we have to end here. Again, I keep thinking we're so close. I didn't know how could that not be the ending, but apparently we got more. And again, like, it's another power spot. They're going for another power spot. She consumed the power spot that Gaia uses to fuel all of their machinations. And now they're going to the power spot that was hidden in the forest in Kazamatsuri, whether it was like a newer one or not. I mean, it's where the key emerged, so it probably is a brand new one. And Gaia built around this area from the original power spot, which they either moved to or was found in that other dimension, or maybe it grew from that other dimension. I don't know. Like, or grew into it. Like, maybe like the reason that other dimension exists is because that power spot exists in that parallel world. I don't even know, but that's where they're going. And so we gotta figure out what the fetch we're gonna do when we get there. But holy crap on a cracker. And yes, I did make my pre-order. Yes, I got my Bretonian stuff coming through. Woohoo. I don't feel right. I hate that it happened at the same time when I could record, but that's all I could do. That's me. I was sitting there like filling out my information just like with like tears in my eyeballs, and it was just awful. And I hate this. I want to keep going, but I don't want to make a video super long, and I'm running out of time as it is. That's the biggest thing. It's like I just don't have time. So we'll save the rest for next time. But I do think this must be the end, because it's like either we stop the apocalypse or not. That's just all it is. And then maybe a little after story about what me and Chihaya are going to do after. But my gosh. I have some pretty solid thoughts about this route, and I'm pretty sure they'll materialize 100% at the end of the end of it. But I'm pretty sure I already have an idea of how I'm going to describe the Chihaya route and what I think about it. But I'll have to save that for next time because I need to see it to the end before I make any concrete, like, pronouncing. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to the patrons and members, especially for the newer ones who've joined in. I hope you enjoy yourselves. Hopefully I can make this worthwhile for you. And I've decided one of my resolutions is I'm going to get back on the bandwagon making patron casts once a month again. I feel like I've got the means to do so, and I feel like my energy is kind of working itself out. My medical stuff has been tempered. It's not perfect, but it's been worked on and it's progressing. So we'll end it here, and I hopefully got more good stuff coming out for this next year, 2024. It's up to us to make it a good year, right? Like, we can only do so much, but we can certainly do our part, and I'm going to do my part to make it the best year yet. So hopefully you'll all have something fun to catch up with and to stick around for in the coming year. But that's well to see. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. Well, I certainly did, and I'm grateful you're here. I look forward to reading your comments. But until next video, watch me. I'll see you next. I'll see you there.